Alright guys, welcome back to the channel and more on WWE 2K23, where today we're going to be rounding up all of this week's news, including a full breakdown of the DLC teaser image, new previews of the Ruthless Aggression DLC, and then some brand new screenshots and entrance videos. So let's start out by talking the latest DLC news, as during this week's 2K Showdown stream, we've seen the stream glitch out and get taken over by a hacker who uploaded the bad newspaper that was teased last week. Once that upload reached 100%, the screen flashed up a QR code which took viewers to a hidden page on the 2K website. This page included a brand new teaser image titled The Bad Newspaper, which is made up of a lot of teasers and references to this year's DLC, similar to how the DLC was teased in the Suplex City Census for 2K17. So let's take a look at the teaser to see who we can expect as DLC, where we're starting off with the most obvious ones, as we have a few stars whose names are actually listed on the poster, as we have the full names for NXT stars Nathan Frazer and Trick Williams. Also included, we have the name of Carlito, as turning the image upside down and then checking out the far side of the image, then you can see that Carlito's name is also listed. Staying with names, we also have the name Harley, which would presumably be that of Harley Race, which, if correct, means Harley Race will make his debut in the WWE series. Also named, we have Eve, which would seemingly hint at Eve Torres. Then, just above Eve, we have a potential tease for Michelle McCool, as the poster includes the image of the Divas Championship, of which Michelle was the first ever Divas Champion. Just above Eve, we also have the text Don, which could hint at NXT's Tony D'Angelo, who's known as the Don of NXT. Zooming in on the top centre, we also have a small moon with the text Luna, which appears to be a hint at Attitude Era star Luna Vachon. Over to the right of Luna, we also have the name Blair, which would appear to hint at NXT's Blair Davenport. Also teased in the form of text, we have the name of the teaser itself, The Bad Newspaper, which is an obvious hint at Bad News Barrett. Meanwhile, in less obvious text, we have the letters OC, which appears to hint at Gallows and Anderson. Then we have another tag team teased with the text Yes Boys, which is a reference to NXT tag team Pretty Deadly. Taking a look at some of the logos that are featured, we have the inclusion of the Diamond Mine logo, which could suggest members Ivy Nile, Tatum Paxley and Roderick Strong as DLC. Also included is the logo for Chase University, which could indicate the inclusion of Andre Chase, Duke Hudson and Thea Hale. Over in the bottom left hand corner, we have this tree logo with its roots showing, which is the same tree that's used on Schism's 4 Roots 1 Tree shirt, so this could indicate the inclusion of Schism members Joe Gacy, Ava Raine, Jagger Reed and Rip Fowler. Taking a look at some of the other images that are featured, next to the Schism tree we have a sleep mask, which would appear to be a reference to NXT's Wendy Choo. Just above the sleep mask, we have an image of a bird, which many people have suggested could be a reference to NXT's Lyra Valkyria, given the feathers, though you could also argue that this bird is a buzzard, which could be a reference to Bray Wyatt. Speaking of Bray Wyatt, one of the biggest clues to his inclusion is the giant white rabbit, with this one being one of the more obvious clues. Taking a look at the area around the rabbit, we have an image of a diamond, which could be a reference to Diamond Dallas Page, as the diamond is placed in the hand of the rabbit, which could be a reference to DDP's diamond cutter pose as he throws his hands up to create a diamond. Right next to the diamond, we also have an axe, which I've seen many people speculating on, though I think the general consensus is that the axe is there to represent NXT's Gallus, which is Wolfgang and Mark Coffey. Staying with tag teams, the image also includes 2 different shirts, with many people suggesting that these are a reference to NXT's Brooks and Jensen, and while I do think that is the case, I also think it's a reference to the Steiner brothers, as the jackets are 2 completely different types. One of the jackets is a shirt like you'd see worn by Brooks and Jensen, while the other is what people in the US I think call a varsity jacket, which is similar to the jackets that are worn by the Steiner brothers, whose inclusion this year would make a lot of sense, as Rick Steiner is the father of NXT champion Bron Breakker. Focusing on the middle of the image, we have a record disc that appears to hint at the inclusion of Hit Row, therefore we could see Top Dollar, B-Fab and Anthony Adonis all featured as DLC. Taking a closer look at the record, it also appears to double as the sun rising over the horizon, therefore there's a lot of speculation that this could be a hint at NXT's Japanese star Meiko Satomura. Just to the right of the record, we have an image of a wolf that appears to be howling at the moon, with many people saying that this is a reference to Isla Dawn, though given its placement next to the axe, this could also be another reference to Wolfgang of Gallus. Taking a look at the bottom of the image, we have a credit card which looks to be a reference to NXT's Tiffany Stratton. Over to the right of the credit card, we have what appears to be a tsunami as we see the waves crashing into a city, which could be a reference to Bronson Reed as his finishing move is named the Tsunami. Moving on to some of the final clues, over on the left side we have this illustration of two amateur wrestlers, which initially made me think of Gable Steveson, though it's been pointed out that this could also be a reference to the Steiner brothers, as both of the Steiners were amateur wrestlers and they would wear their wrestling helmets as part of their gimmick. Just above the amateur wrestlers, we also have what appears to be a Greek statue, which could be referred to as a masterpiece, perhaps hinting at the masterpiece Chris Masters, though that's one of the only ones that I'm not entirely sure on. Over to the right of the statue, tucked away behind the bad news paper text, you can also make out what appears to be Mercy the Buzzard from the Firefly Funhouse, which, if correct, given the other teasers for Bray Wyatt, could mean that we'll see multiple versions. Finally, going back to the text of Don and Eve, one thing that I wanted to point out is that if you were to combine these and draw a little arrow here, then reading this, it reads as Devon, which could be a clever hint at Devon of the Dudley Boys, though given that Bubba is currently under contract to the NWO and Impact Wrestling, then we may get Brother Devon, which would make sense given the inclusion of Leviathan Batista in the Ruthless Aggression DLC, as Leviathan Batista was the manager to Reverend Devon during his singles run on SmackDown. So that's a breakdown of the DLC teaser that was released. However, sticking with the DLC, we also have a new preview of the Ruthless Aggression DLC, which comes bundled with the Icon Edition, as the WWE Games accounts have shared this new teaser trailer, which gives us our first look at the DLC. Running through the stars that are included in this pack, we have the prototype John Cena, Leviathan Batista, Randy Orton and Brock Lesnar, with all these stars featuring their original gimmicks from OVW. This DLC is exclusive to the Icon Edition of WWE 2K23, as it's not part of the main DLC offering that's covered under the Season Pass. Therefore, the only way you can get these versions of these characters is by picking up the Icon Edition. Moving on, we also have some new screenshots to share, as the latest episode of the 2K Showdown stream revealed 4 new screenshots, the first of which was this new image of the Usos. Also shown off, we got our first look at NXT's Indy Hartwell, a close-up look at Damage Control's Bayley, and then a high-resolution image of Queen Zelina, who we see enter with her crown and her scepter. Staying with screenshots, the WWE Games Twitter account have also shared the first proper look at the Bloodlines entrance, as prior to SmackDown last night we got this new screenshot showing off Roman Reigns, the Usos and Paul Heyman. Finally for today, we have 2 new entrance videos to share, as the Showdown stream also revealed the first look at the Judgment Day's trio entrance, as we got this new footage of Finn Balor, Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. Alongside the entrance for the Judgment Day, also shown off was the entrance for Karrion Kross and Scarlett, who we see sporting new attires, though the entrance animation appears to be the same one from 2K22. So that's a full roundup of this week's news, including a full breakdown of the DLC teaser image, so let me know what you make of the news in the comments, and while you're there, make sure that you have your notifications turned on, as this past week I was invited out to a special WWE 2K23 Community Day event where I was able to record around 6 to 7 hours worth of gameplay, and I'll be able to start posting that and answering questions beginning this Tuesday on March 7th. So stay tuned for that, as there is a ton of content to come, but until then, thank you so much for watching this video, have yourself an awesome day, and I'll catch you later.